well, like all you know, my name is Sophia Castro. I'm going to give you a little bit of my story, I guess, the beginning. So, as a 18-year-old child, well, actually, as a 16-year-old child, I dropped out of high school in 10th grade because I come from a family of 7 uh, immigrant parents from Cuba, and they lived paycheck to paycheck. My mother actually couldn't work because she had 7 children. It didn't make no sense for her to go to work. And at the age of like, I'm 16 years old, I wanted a car, I wanted to dress nice, I wanted to have my stuff, and my parents couldn't afford it. So, and I had dyslexia, and I had a reading comprehension, which no one saw or told me about. So I was going to school, failing my classes, not because didn't know what I was doing. It was just I was inverting my letters, I was inverting my numbers. I would get my test wrongs, and I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, school's not for me. I'm going to drop out of high school, and I'm going to go work. I know I could work, and I had the grit to go work, and I'm like, and I'm going to pay for my own stuff because my parents can afford it. So I did, and my parents allowed me. I don't know why I would never allow my kids to drop out of high school, but my parents allowed me. The only thing they told me was, don't think I'm going to pay one thing of anything you're going to do. The only thing you have is the roof over your head and food. From that point on, you figure out everything you want. And I was like, that's fine with me. I could go work. I don't have a problem with that. So I did go work. At the age of 18, I met my life partner at the moment. And we got introduced by some friends. I met him, and by coincidence, we lived in the same city, and he also dropped out of high school. And we didn't know each other. We went to the same high school, but he's 4 years older than me, so we never really met and hung out with the same people. But when I met him, he told me, I'm going to, if we want to date, I'm an entrepreneur. I am not going to be a 9-to-5 type of guy that you want, this corporate, guy. So I just want you to understand that I'm not going to be that guy. And at that point, I didn't know what entrepreneur was. I was like, yeah, whatever. That's okay. You were cute. You're cute. We'll take it. I don't know what's going to happen. You're just cute. We'll go out. But immediately after I met him, he asked me to let go of my job to open a business. And I was like, how are we going to open a business with no money? I have no money. I live paycheck to paycheck. He had no money. He didn't even have a car. So he's like, don't worry about it. We're going to do this. Well, I ended up following let's do with this. Why not? At the present time, we were both at the bottom. If you fall, we weren't going really far. We weren't going to get hurt. I had, a house to live in, and he did too. That's all we had, and that's all that mattered at the time. And on that journey, I started learning really what is entrepreneurship, owning a business, being on your own, and being your own boss. We failed. We started businesses, and we couldn't, really succeed for 2 reasons. We had no capital behind us, and really no knowledge. I had no clue of business. I was not a very, say, book smart person. I was street smart, but not book smart. And so every time we opened a business, they were just failures, And from those failures, we started, then those failures, I got pregnant by mistake 6 months into our relationship. I was 19 years old. And I was like, oh no, what are we going to do now? He did not want me to have an abortion for no reason. He's like, if you have an abortion, that's fine. That's your body. You could do whatever you want. I just won't want to stay with you. I was like, wait, you don't know me. I don't know you. How would you want a child with me? Whatever. Bottom line is that I was going to do an abortion, and when I went there, I just couldn't do it. I walked out. I said, I'm going to keep this child, whatever it is, the journey that's bringing me on, I'm going to keep it. If we make it, fine. If we don't, I know my parents would have supported me regardless. So I said, let's go for this journey. I said, but now that you want this child, we have no job. Really, we didn't have a job. We were working sales things and doing little things that weren't really bringing us money. I said, so we really need to do something about it. So I decided to go back to school because, of course, that's what everybody tells you. If you don't have a degree, you're not going to do nothing. You're not going to be able to be successful in life. You don't have the knowledge. Well, I decided that I was going to go, and I loved medical. Back then, I was one of my passions to be a doctor, but I knew I couldn't do it because school was not for me. So I ended up doing a tech school, and I did ultrasounds for like maternity and heart. So I did that. It was a 12-month course, got into that business. My husband continued to work, little sales jobs. He's a great salesperson. He got 2 jobs. He was a waiter at night and worked for the Better Business Bureau during the day, which is it's a network. What is it? It's like it's a rating agency for your business. So he was a salesperson. He was doing that in at night. Meanwhile, that I was working during the day. But at that time, he was still looking for a business that we could create. And we came across this manual. We paid, it was $1,700 to become a equipment broker. What was that? I had no clue. He had no clue. All he knew was that he could open his own business and he could be a salesperson and he could sell anything. So we went to my mom and said, can you let me borrow $1,700 to buy this manual? I was still working. And my mom she would ask me to pay like $50 a month or something towards the house. Well, she was saving that money the whole time. She never really was using it. She was doing like a savings account for myself. And she's like, yeah, she never told me that was the money she was giving me. Later on, she told me. So she gave me the $1,700 and she's like, you guys want to risk it? That's just as long as you know that, that's all you have. So we got that manual, and that manual really, it was a notebook that you buy at Office Depot with the little clips, copy paper from this guy writing like this little manual. It was no big deal, and go do it on your own. So we were like, this is what we bought. So my husband, being that entrepreneur, he really said, we need to make this work. This is our last end of the road. We have nothing else. So, and we had a child at this moment. So we were like, we need to make something work. So we got this manual and we really went and studied it and said, okay, we need to make that. My husband went out and we learned what an equipment leasing broker was. And my husband would let go of one of the the Better Business Bureau, and worked only the night job. And I worked during the day at the medical. And at night when I would come, it was typewriters and fax machines back then. So he didn't know how to type, the typewriter, he was like finger typing. So I would do that at night and I would fax all the applications or the information that we needed during that. So that went on for like 18 months. We finally got the business to do enough where both of us were able to get out of our business, our jobs, and work the business full time. So as an entrepreneur, we were like, this is what we're going to make it work. We went in there and we were able to take that business from that time. And of course, guys, ups and downs. We went through market changes, financial changes, the whole 9 yards. We always wanted to be in real estate. Okay, so always, that was our main goal. But for real estate, you need money. So when we did this business, our main goal was having a savings account for us to be able to buy real estate. So in this journey, our business started growing. We brought in his brother as a business partner, which is great, works very good with my husband. And me, and we were 2 couples now owning this business. We grew the business to the next level. The business was going amazing. In 2001, we met a banker. And we said we need to, create this company where now we're going to be a lending company. We're going to have our own money and we're going to be able to lend to business owners. And there was a niche when we were doing this equipment leasing of doctors. We were financing a lot of the x-ray machines, a lot of the dental offices needed all the machineries for their office. And we found a niche because at that time in 2000, around there, the banks changed their laws, and a lot of stuff were happening where we were having a difficult time being brokers. And we were asking our clients, what if we can't do your equipment leasing, what would you need? What's a need that's going on around? And it was working capital. We need cash just to run the business. Payroll, paying taxes, believe it or not, paying their taxes was still to this day, that company's one of the biggest thing they use their money for, buying out a partner, whatever, but we need the cash. So we started looking into this, and we brought in a banker to bring him in as a partner so that we could have a banker's lending license. And that business we started in 2001. And from that point on, we started then just being lenders, not brokers. And we were lending, then we went to a niche to doctors only. Any medical field licensed professional, we would lend money to them. So that business went in 2007 when the crisis started happening. We went from being here to just being up here because the banks, being in a square box, they couldn't lend to these doctors. For whatever reason, they had, restrictions and so forth. We just started being the only lenders that would lend doctors. And I don't know if you guys know anything about medical field, but when the insurance companies, you go into the doctor with your insurance, they don't get paid anywhere from 60 to 90 days for that service that they're providing to you. Besides that it takes that long, they also only get a percentage of whatever that service costs. So let's say that the service you went in for, they charge $200. The insurance company could say, well, that service only is $75, and that's all we're gonna pay you. So besides them already having to wait for that money, now they're only getting paid a percentage of what they had projected that they were gonna receive. So we then started lending to these doctors on them having money to cover their 90 days for working capital. Bottom line, the company went amazing, and in 2007 we blew up. We just went funding $30 million a month. It was crazy. Yeah, it was a nut. So in 2003 we started investing in real estate, as we would buy multifamily apartment buildings, and we went into that where the crisis came in 2007. Real estate went to the floor. We almost lost it all because of the real estate company, but because our financial business was doing so well, it was able to subside the real estate and hold the real estate until it came back up. In that journey, we started, increasing. We went from only having a few employees to having 800 employees to having 1,000 employees. The company, and today that company has 2,000 something employees. In 2019, my husband, our company, in 2009, a bank came to us and asked us to merge with us and buy a percentage of the company. We sold the percentage. In 2011, they bought another percentage. And in 2019, that business got evaluated at a $1 billion evaluation. And my husband, in his mind, he's a very type A and very goal-oriented. And he said, if the company ever reaches $1 billion evaluation, I want to be out. So when that happened, him being OCD and that A-type, he's like, well, my goal's there. We're going to exit. I'm like, no way. This company still has so much runway. And he's like, no, I really want to get out. I said that this was the time, whatever. I said, you know what? If that's what you want, every time you have said something, we've done it and it's worked, so let's do this. We were very heavily involved in real estate at this point as well. We had 2 companies. And so we exited in 2019 our part of the company, and we went directly into a family office. So what a family office, I don't know in Europe if you have family offices, but our net worth, we invest, we control it. We have employees that are being like a financial institution that, like if you were at Goldman Sachs, that they invest your money in stocks and so forth. We've hired our own employees to manage our financials and invest in what we want to invest in, control our future.